Well, I want to welcome you to this Facebook live stream. I so appreciate my client Jan offering this idea that why don't I just deliver this Facebook message on Facebook? So thank you, Jan. So this is an encore presentation of a webinar that I delivered yesterday about how to engage doctors on Facebook. I'm Vicki Rackner. I leverage my experience as a practicing surgeon, clinical faculty at the University of Washington School of Medicine, and serial entrepreneur to help financial advisors accelerate their growth by acquiring doctor clients. Now, if you've ever wondered, how do I get past the gatekeeper with doctors? Or how do I get my message in front of more doctors? Or how do I inspire doctors to meet with me? Or how do I inspire a doctor to take action? You're not alone. Plus, you're also in the right place, because this is exactly what I do. I help financial advisors engage doctors without wasting your time, your money, or your effort, even if you've had disappointing results in the past, because there's probably been a missing piece. It probably has to do with cultural clashes between the world of business and the world of medicine. And my secret sauce is really bridging the two worlds so that you can experience accelerated success. So the core principles in doctor-client acquisition are basically the same. And we're going to talk about how to do that on Facebook. So if you think of engaging doctor prospects or any kind of prospect as going out fishing, your marketing materials are sort of like your bait and your equipment. Well, really what we're doing is talking about using Facebook as a fishing hole to do this. You're still going to need all of the things that you need in order to have a successful fishing trip. We're just going to modify it for this particular fishing hole. So in this tutorial, we're going to cover why to consider using Facebook as one of your fishing holes. We're going to talk about how Facebook works, and we're going to talk about how to make Facebook work for you. Now, I want to recognize that most advisors are sort of new to using Facebook. So one of the key questions that you're going to want to ask is this the right time to move forward with Facebook at all? Maybe you want to wait another 6 months. So I'm really trying to help you with the information that's going to help you make real and practical plans so that you can achieve success this year. All right, a couple of warnings. First, I'm sure that your compliance departments have lots to say about Facebook. And hopefully you've got the kind of compliance with whom you can work. So for example, one of my advisors wanted to go on Facebook, one of my private coaching clients. And originally his compliance department said, no, you can't be on Facebook. And when we started exploring it with them, what we discovered was that their problem was having comments from other doctors on his site. So we negotiated with them that he could deliver the content that had been approved already to deliver at speaking engagements and through videos, and we would disable the comments. So hopefully you've got some reasonable people, but you do have to have them on board before you even consider moving forward. Second, the rules and algorithms for Facebook are changing all of the time. So I'm not going to give you specific, how do you create an ad kind of information. Instead, what I'm going to do is talk about some core principles about how you can use social media in your digital marketing funnels. I'm going to be doing a whole separate presentation about LinkedIn because that fishing hole's a little different than Facebook. So know that I'm hoping that you're going to get the kind of information that's going to help you develop a plan, and the details of the plan will undoubtedly change as the Facebook rules change, because they always do. And third, I just want to let you know that this is not a casual marketing campaign. This is not something that maybe this week you think, yeah, why don't I do something fun on Facebook, and it's forgotten next week. In order to succeed with Facebook, it requires a concerted, regular effort. So as you're thinking about whether it's right for you, what you need to know is that you need to be present on Facebook. Facebook wants you there engaging with the community. So the people who are really successful with Facebook are often touching in on a daily basis and posting at least on a weekly basis. So look into your heart and soul and see whether this is the kind of commitment that you are willing to make. Now, the rewards are there. There are lots and lots of doctors on Facebook. This is a wonderful way that financial advisors have successfully built their practice. But the question is it for you? Okay, so let me tell you a bit about me. So I call myself an accidental surgeon. I was actually in a graduate program when I had a surgical emergency. I was bleeding internally. And by the time the surgeons got into my belly, about half of my blood volume was in my pelvis. So I thought that this was the end. And not surprisingly, I woke up so grateful to be alive that I decided to switch course. I switched from the graduate program that I was in to decide to be a doctor and save other people's lives like my own had been saved. Not surprisingly, I became a surgeon. I was in private practice in Seattle, and I was primarily a breast surgeon. As my career evolved, I stepped into the role of family caregiver, and I actually took a leave from my practice in order to put my family first. And in the meanwhile, I supported myself by being an expert in medical malpractice lawsuits. So at the end of about a year, my caregiving role came to an end, and my question was, what's next? I certainly could have gone back to the operating room, but this experience of being an expert and seeing where medical care went off track, with my experience of being a doctor, a patient, a family caregiver, I thought, well, gee, I bet I could make an even more profound contribution by helping doctors and patients collaborate more effectively to get better medical care at a lower cost. And I thought this was going to be a slam dunk. But I struggled and struggled and struggled. I invested in coaches and mentors and all sorts of things. In fact, I invested about as much in my marketing education as I literally did in medical school. And what I came to understand is that people in the world of business are wired differently than doctors. And if I could only characterize these differences, I would get a better outcome. And that's exactly what I did. So as I stated, my secret sauce is bridging the world of business and the world of medicine. Now, I've actually got two brands. I've got a brand I call Thriving Doctors, and this is where I help doctors thrive. And I've been doing this for about 2 decades now. But as I first started working with doctors, what I discovered is that unless and until doctors had a sound financial foundation, they really didn't have many options, unless doctors were working with professional financial advisors. But my doctor said, how do I find them? And so what I decided to do was launch another brand called Targeting Doctors, where I would give financial advisors the skills and tools to successfully engage doctor clients. And I've been doing this for about a decade. I'm a systems-oriented person. So I've got systems, I've got strategies and tactics that have all been tested, that all work, and that's why I'm here delivering it to you. So not too long ago, I was speaking with one of my private coaching clients, and he said, Dr. Vicki, listen, we were talking about doing seminars. We've got to back off. Like, I've got so many doctor clients calling me that I just don't have any time for new doctors. Now, nice problem to have, right? So what's happened with this client? He's achieved what I call escape velocity. So he's become known as the go-to guy among targeted groups of doctors. And whenever somebody new comes into the circle, they say, hey, you got to call him. So he's escaped the gravitational pull. He is actually just building his practice by letting doctors talk about him. And this is the real beauty about the medical market. The barrier to entry is much higher than it would be with, say, a business-minded person, but the rewards on the other end are tremendous. Doctors have high earning potential. But most importantly, doctors are going to talk about you. So if you're even here because you're wondering whether you want to work with the doctors, great question, and I'd be happy to talk with you about that to see if that's right. So what I know from my decade-long experience in helping financial advisors like you acquire more doctor clients is that the single most important thing that you need to do in order to engage doctors is expert positioning. Now, God forbid, if you were sick, you would want to see an expert. And doctors want to see experts too. They want to work with somebody who works with doctors like them all day, every day. And so just know, if you go to the Targeting Doctors site, you're going to find a whole bunch of information. Please avail yourself of this. This spring, I launched a You, the Expert tutorial series. So please feel welcome to go and take a look at that. So it includes a session about how to engage doctors through speaking engagements, how to engage doctors by creating videos and podcasts, and how to engage doctors by leveraging books that you've written. So we're going to take some of the elements from these tutorials and include it in this particular fishing hole. So there's a lot to cover, a lot to know, and clearly I can't do it all in an hour or so. Okay, so let's talk about why you might be interested in Facebook as a fishing hole. Well, the primary reason is that this is where doctors are. So doctors behave like tropical fish. They tend to congregate together and they tend to move together in the same direction. And they do it for the same reason that tropical fish do it. It's because it offers protection against predators. So when doctors meet somebody new, whether it's somebody that they want to hire or a financial advisor, the big question is this a friend or a foe? Is this somebody who's going to be taken advantage of me? And most doctors have gotten involved in some kind of dumb doctor deal. I mean, I've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars myself in it. So they're a little wary of strangers. And doctors like closed community. So you might have some doctor prospects or clients who are on LinkedIn, but it turns out that there's an entire LinkedIn just for doctors called Doximity. And physicians would much rather go there and know that they are just speaking with other doctors and their patients are not eavesdropping. All right, so Facebook has the ability of forming private groups, and this is where doctors are congregating. If you go and just Google physician and groups on Facebook, you're going to find some pretty amazing things. I mean, there's a group called Physician Side Gigs with about 43,000 physicians. There's a site called Physicians on Fire, which is helping doctors retire early. There's Wealthy Mom Doctors. There's a group of about 13,000 women doctors who are there to lose weight. There are female physician entrepreneurs. There are physicians who do their own home remodels and share their pictures online. There's even a large group of doctors who are into Disney vacations. So this is where the doctors really are joining. It may be different for you. So you want to go and find out where your doctor prospects and clients are. If they're on LinkedIn, great. You probably want to be on LinkedIn, so stay tuned for my next tutorial on that. My guess, though, is that you're going to find that they're on Facebook and they're active on Facebook. Now, you can't join these groups, but I have, and I participate regularly. And what's fascinating to me is that doctors will turn to other doctors with questions that they should be turning to you with. And whenever I can, I make the suggestion that perhaps they might want to get into a relationship with a professional financial advisor and offer to make a recommendation, because I've been helping enough financial advisors. I know financial advisors pretty much in every state. Okay, so that's the main reason. The second reason is that you can target doctors. Now, let's talk about big data. Facebook is scary. At any day, 1/7 of the planet's population could potentially be on Facebook. Facebook collects lots of data about you. They probably know your buying habits more intimately than you do. They study this. They have this data available. And so you can actually say, I want to get my message in front of an audience that's characterized by these criteria. And it can be age. It might be family status. It might be career. It might be income. It might be assets. It might even be things like people who like a certain kind of post. Maybe people who like a post on doctors on social media. So you can actually exquisitely target exactly the people you want to reach. I mean, this is so exquisite that the Russians figure that out, and that's why they leverage Facebook to allegedly influence the election. So you can use this to your advantage. And third, Facebook is a huge social engineering experiment, and they know what works. So I heard a great show on Radio Lab called the Facebook Trust Engineers, and I really invite you to go and listen to it. It was astounding, but here are the highlights. Christmas 2011, everyone was posting their Christmas photos on Facebook. When the engineers got back from their Christmas vacation, they were inundated with comments that photos were inappropriate. So of course they got a way of taking down inappropriate photos, but they would have had to, hire thousands of people to respond to all of the inquiries that came right around Christmas time. So as they started digging and trying to understand it, what they came to realize is that people saw themselves in photos that their friends had posted. They didn't like the photos, and they didn't want to just go and ask their friends to take it down. So they did what they thought was reasonable, which is to contact Facebook and ask Facebook to take it down. Well, Facebook didn't want to get into that business. And so they actually had a task force that at the time they called the Trust Engineers to figure out how to coach people to go and offer this opinion. The first thing that they needed to do was offer the users a way of communicating to Facebook that they didn't like a photo or they wanted it down. So on the field of, why are you tagging this photo? They said, embarrassing. And when they tweaked it to an option that says, it's embarrassing, it increased the response by about 40%. So Facebook is very, very skilled at understanding how to say things to engage people and to inspire them to take action. And remember, they're not just talking about studying 100 people. They're talking about studying 1/7 of the world population. So they know how to engage people. They know what works. When I first started putting up Facebook ads, I was a little resentful that they had to approve the ads. And what I came to understand is they wanted me to be successful, because if I were successful, I was going to buy more advertising. So their rules can actually help you engage doctors more effectively. If they're suggesting that you boost a post, and we'll talk about that, if they're suggesting, take a look at your picture, it's because they want you being more successful. If you engage more people on Facebook, then they're going to be able to sell even more advertising dollars. So they really get it. So, think about this task group called the Trust Engineers, and then consider this other fact, which is the rate at which your practice grows, the rate at which you acquire doctor prospects and clients, is the rate at which you build trust. So the things that Facebook has learned can help you be more successful in the medical market. Okay, so how does Facebook work? Well, you might have seen this very, very funny episode where Mark Zuckerberg was in front of the Senate. Senator Hatch asked, well, is Facebook free? Yes, Senator, we intend to always allow a free service. And then Mr. Hatch said, well, then what's your business model? How do you make money? And Mark Zuckerberg said, in the tone that I recognize when I ask my son a technical question, well, Senator, we sell advertising. And sell advertising they do. Mark Zuckerberg's net worth is about 68 billion, that's with a B. This definitely works. It's a great business model for them. They want to do more of it. They want to sell more ads. And so when they get more people engaged on their platform, they sell more ads. So they want to help Facebook users give people more of what they want so that people are more engaged on this platform. So Facebook likes engagement. If you've done any study about Facebook, you know there are people you can pay who will go out and get you Facebook likes. That's great if you want a warm fuzzy, but if you want to build your business with Facebook, you want evidence of engagement. You want people commenting, you want people sharing your content. And Facebook will reward you for creating ongoing, engaging, compelling content that gets shared. So on Facebook, the rubber meets the road in the news feed. So when we're talking about sharing content, what we're talking about is getting your content into doctors' news feeds. But just because you offer this content doesn't necessarily mean that it gets into a person's newsfeed. In fact, Facebook has a very complex algorithm that decides what information gets shared with whom. And part of the algorithm has to do with your reputation as somebody who creates and shares content. Do people like your content? Well, if they like it and they share it, you get sort of more brownie points in the Facebook algorithm. And once you get more brownie points, you're going to wind up in more news feeds. So you can see that the key to success here is creating engaging content and having Facebook recognize you as a great content creator. Okay, so there are 3 different ways to get into a doctor's newsfeed, and let's talk about that. The first is organic content. So this is just content that you would post on your business page. And you know, if you're going to move forward, you can easily Google how to set up a Facebook business page, but you want a separation between your business and your personal Facebook lives. All right, so let me just give you some examples. My son is a power lifter. He competed and he broke a personal record and deadlifted 534 pounds. So I posted that video on my personal site. And this is something that gets shared widely because a lot of my family and friends are already following my son. So they've already expressed an interest in videos like this. So I know that this kind of thing is going to get shared with them. Now, on my way to the mailbox a couple of months ago, on the side of my driveway, I saw a turtle laying eggs. And so I took a video, I did a Facebook Live and posted it on my personal page. And interestingly enough, this kind of went viral. So the people who are already getting this in their Facebook news feeds started putting it on their wall and other people started picking it up. So that's exactly the kind of thing that you want to do. You want to have content that other people pick up, and this leads to other people. So on average, most people have about 300 Facebook connections. So, you know, let's say 20 of my 300 group reposted this turtle, and then 20% reposted that. You can see how you can reach huge numbers of people very, very quickly. All right, just this week, we had a little neighborhood barbecue. The fire department and the police were out, and they took a cute picture of all the kids sitting on the fire truck. I'm sure this is going to go viral. You know, I'm sure that this is going to have lots and lots of engagement because all of the family members are going to see it and like it and comment it on and share it. So what kind of content can you create that's going to make doctors sit up and pay notice? Okay, so that's one way, organic. The second way to get in a doctor's newsfeed is with paid ads. So if you look carefully at your news feeds and you look in the upper left-hand corner, you might see something that says sponsored. So that's a paid ad. Not everyone is sensitive to that, but you know, once you are, a lot of people just sort of ignore the paid ads. So you certainly can pay to get your ad in front of doctor prospects, but here's a better way to do it. It's called paid boosts. So this is a post that you can pay Facebook to put in more people's news feeds. And just like with an ad, you can tell them the criteria of the people that you want to target, but it doesn't have this sponsored thing. So when I was posting about this Facebook Live event, I made the post, and the very next thing that Facebook did was offered something. It said, do you want to boost this post? Do I want to pay to get the post in front of more financial advisors? And this is a very effective way to quickly grow your list. So the bottom line, the key to success on Facebook is delivering this content that engages users and then getting that content in front of the right doctor prospects. All right, so here is the number one message I want to deliver to you. That is that Facebook loves live streaming. It loves exactly what you're seeing here now on Facebook. It loves it when you take out your smartphone or turn on your laptop and just broadcast things live. And this sort of puts you at the top of the line in the Facebook algorithm. So I think that the single best way of engaging doctors on Facebook is to do these Facebook live streams. You can do it on your smartphone. It doesn't have to be a fancy Hollywood production. In fact, most people who do live stream just simply do it on their smartphones, and it's expected to look grainy. It's expected not to look professional. You get to be authentically who you are. Now, please go and watch the tutorial about how you establish your expert positioning by creating videos. It will walk you through everything that you want or need to know about how to use videos to establish your expert positioning. 3-minute videos. Okay, so what do you need? You need your smartphone, and I think that the best video are answers to doctors' frequently asked questions. Not the questions you think that they should be asking, but the questions that they're actually asking. So a great way to start it is, doctor, have you ever wondered whether you should invest in a vacation home? Hi, I am Bill, and I help doctors take control of their financial destiny. This is a question that doctors frequently ask me. You know, is a second home a good investment? Should I do it? Well, here are 3 questions that you should ask if you're wondering if you yourself should buy that second home. So you don't want to give advice, and it's not going to get through compliance, first of all, but second of all, it's just not good medicine. I've done a lot of radio as a physician, and what I promised myself is that I would never give therapeutic information. I was always pressed, Dr. Rackner, how much vitamin D should we be taking? And I would always say, I want your listeners to get advice from doctors who know their whole medical picture, but here are some questions that the listeners can take to their doctors. So you offer financial therapeutic interventions, and my guess is that there's not one intervention that fits all. So avoid being either diagnostic or therapeutic. Offer some questions, get doctors curious. But ultimately what you want to do is get knee to knee with them, right? So that you can help them in their particular situation. Is Facebook right for you? Well, the very first step for you is to talk with your doctor prospects and clients and find out if they're on Facebook. If they're not, I would recommend not making the investment. I mean, you can check in another 6 months. Things change very, very quickly. But by the way, I think another reason that so many doctors are on Facebook is that they're using Facebook to build their own practices, right? They're offering patient information. They want to get more patients to their practices. Okay, the next thing that you need to do before you decide whether this is right for you is check with your compliance department. You know, how would they feel about you being on Facebook? How would they feel about you doing a live stream? It may be that they say no to the live stream. Maybe you actually shoot videos and have them in the can, as they say, and then upload them to Facebook. But, you know, if your compliance department is going to approve live presentations, then they probably should approve a live stream. Just give them an outline, let them know what you're going to do. But if they say no, if they're going to be a barrier, again, your time and resources are better invested in different marketing campaigns. And then third, you know, take an honest look at yourself. Is this a campaign you're able and willing to sustain? You know, are you willing to get in front of your smartphone once a week? Are you willing to check in on a regular basis and engage with people? And it's not for everybody. And if it's not for you, that's okay. Then again, just invest your resources in ways that are going to work better for you, because there are all sorts of ways of engaging doctors. This is just one of them. So let's say the answer is yes, 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 yes. You want to move forward with Facebook. How do you do it? Okay, well, step number one is setting up a Facebook business page. And if you're doing this on Facebook, let's say that you work with doctors and business owners, what you might want to consider doing is just focusing on doctors on your Facebook presence. You can have as many business pages as you want, but if all of the content on your Facebook, and think of it sort of as your Facebook website, your auxiliary website. If everything is about doctors, that shows doctors that you're planting your flag in the medical market and you're really serious about doctors. If you want to engage business owners, you know, maybe set up another business page. You can be a lumper or a splitter. So let's say that you're Green Financial. Maybe you can buy the URL Green Financial for Docs, and then just set up this Facebook presence so that it's just for doctors. Now, I also recommend a sharp division between your business site and your personal site. So, you know, people find me on Facebook and then I get friend requests, but I don't necessarily want to share my turtle video with my prospects and clients. And so what I normally do is I just say, you know, thank you for the invitation. How about if we just get to know each other professionally? I'm very careful about who I accept friend requests from. Most doctors don't want their patients knowing their private, intimate things. Second, decide on your objectives. What are you hoping to do? And I would like to propose that what your objective is and the metric for your success is to build your list. So if you're involved with digital marketing, and I hope that you are, but we're going to talk about how to set up a digital sales funnel in this tutorial. Please know that your book of business has tremendous value, but your book of people who are interested in you is also valuable. And unfortunately, at any time, Facebook could decide that they don't like you anymore and yank your privileges. You want to have control over this list. So one of the very first things that you want to do on Facebook is offer some kind of yummy treat so that doctors exchange their emails for your yummy treat, so that you have control over your list. Okay, and then the third thing is just posting engaging content on Facebook on a regular basis. Just mapping it out, having the discipline to go and execute. Okay, so I mentioned that really you want to think of Facebook as sort of the top of your digital sales funnel. Now I've got a whole hour-long tutorial about how to set up digital sales funnels, but let me just take some of the key elements out and show you how you use Facebook with them. Okay, this digital sales funnel is really important because we've studied doctors' buying behaviors. And we know that doctors are going to need to be exposed to you and your message between 7 and 10 times before they convert from a prospect to a client. So you want a system, you want a digital way of being in touch with your list on a regular basis so that when they're ready to take action, you're top of mind. And I've had advisors tell me that doctors have been on their list sometimes for years before they finally convert. So it's not any more difficult for you to send a video or an insight that you have to 100 doctors than to 1,000 doctors. So I would just keep doctors on your list, always invite doctors to share your contact, always invite doctors to join your list, and then just plan on delivering an ongoing stream of high value content that doctors really want. Okay, so what do you need for a successful digital sales funnel? Well, first you need a source of leads, right? And this is no matter what fishing hole you're in. So the 3 buckets are family, friends, and fans, people who already know, like, and trust you. Everyone knows doctors. There's doctors in everyone's family. There's doctors' neighbors. There's doctor golfing buddies. There's doctors at the church or synagogue or mosque. And so you can go out to people who already know, like, and trust you and let them know about your commitment to serving the doctors who serve the community in a spirit of service, not in a spirit of self-promotion, but in a spirit of service. And then invite them to add a link in the chain of trust by letting doctors know about your yummy treat. So that's 1 bucket of leads. This is the most overlooked bucket of leads. This is where the low-hanging fruit is. That's going to lead to a rapid conversion. So please do yourself a favor and tap into this bucket on a regular basis. The second bucket of leads are power partners. So these are people who have lists of doctors, and if a power partner sends out an email, the doctors actually will open it. So some examples of power partners are executive directors of medical associations. It might be CPAs who do doctors' taxes. It could be somebody who does outsourced medical billing. So it takes a while to build these relationships with the power partners, but once you can help the power partner gets what he or she wants, you can do it in a smart way that helps you get what you want to. The third bucket of leads are the doctor information seekers. So these are the doctors who are out on the internet, Googling how much money do I need in order to retire, or, how do I take advantage of the new tax law? And what I know from my experience is that they're on these Facebook groups asking these questions too. Okay, so how can you use Facebook with these 3 buckets? Well, you can definitely use Facebook to reach family, friends, and fans. I mean, that's what this is all about, right? This is about a social network. That's the origin of Facebook. This is who they are. So connect and engage with your natural community of about 300. Go on Facebook on a regular basis. Comment on their posts. Be present. Be there. Be engaged. Offer your own turtle videos. Offer your own insights. And then, if it feels comfortable, and it depends on your relationship with your network, you can actually go there and say, hey, you might not know this about me, but I'm committed to serving the doctors who serve the community. If you know any doctors who might be interested in reading the book, The Myth of the Rich Doctor, have them contact me. I'd be happy to send them a complimentary book. And you can ask your family, friends, and fans to send their doctors to a landing page where you collect the email for whatever yummy treat that you're doing. Now, you may or may not feel comfortable doing this as a post. Holiday times are a great time to sort of reconnect with people, let people know what's going on and what's going on with you. And especially if you're new in the medical market, you know, this is something that you want to share with your community. They already know you. They know that you're trustworthy. If they've got a doctor in financial pain, if you know anyone in pain, you want to help them, right? So it only makes sense for them to make the introduction. So this is not about you. It's not about your network. It's about those doctors who are out there suffering in silence, whom you can help. If it doesn't feel appropriate to do a post, you can always direct message somebody, and maybe you connect that you guys go out to coffee or have a phone call to get connected, find out what's going on with them, let them know what's going on with you. And just like Johnny Appleseed out distributing apple seeds, instead you're out distributing your yummy treats to engage more doctors. So definitely use Facebook for this. And this can be a one-shot campaign, right? Because you're not engaging doctors directly. You're engaging the people with whom you're already engaged. Okay, next bucket of leads are the power partners. And I just recommend that you do that on LinkedIn. Again, I'll have another tutorial about how to use LinkedIn as a practice building tool. And then the third bucket of leads are the doctor information seekers. So there are basically three ways that you can reach them. You can work through your own social networks like I just talked about and get engaged with them in that way. You can pay for Facebook targeting either with Facebook ads, like let's say that you've got a webinar for doctors and you want to promote it. That's a great reason to pay for an ad, but remember you can also pay to boost it, and that would be my recommendation. And then Facebook has all sorts of interesting features that are changing on a regular basis. So it may or may not be there. But what you can do is you can import your existing list of prospects, and then Facebook can create a lookalike audience. So it can help you target in a different way. And if you've already got a list of doctor clients, well, it makes sense for Facebook to find these people who are just like your doctor clients. So you can definitely engage doctor information seekers on Facebook. Okay, so number one, a source of leads. Number two, you want to make an offer, and the intention of the offer is this ethical bribe to get the email address. So you want to use something that's tested, that actually works. So what I know from my experience is that the book, The Myth of the Rich Doctor, or a presentation by that name, or my next book, The 9 Money Mistakes That Doctors Make, works. They're proven. As you're going out with your lead magnet, you don't want something untested, because you want to test whether or not you can take something that's already been tested and engage doctors, right? You don't want to have to wonder, well, are doctors not responding because this just isn't engaging enough? So these have been tested and proven. I've been all over the country speaking with groups of doctors about the myth of the rich doctor. I was surprised myself to see how popular it is. But once I saw how popular it was kind of a no-brainer to offer financial advisors the opportunity of writing a foreword and afterword so that their name and their picture and their bio goes on the cover. And advisors are really finding that this is a very, very powerful marketing tool. So that's available to you. But hopefully you have your own yummy treats. You have your own lead magnets that you know that doctors really want. Okay, next thing that you need is a landing page. And a landing page is just basically a one-page website where the only thing that happens is that somebody exchanges their email for your yummy treat. Okay, well, why not just put your offer on your website? Well, when they arrive on your website, they can look around, they might get interested in this or that, and then they might forget to come back and give you their email address for that yummy treat. So directly from Facebook, you want to make this offer of your lead magnet, your yummy treat, click here for immediate access. And when they click, the click goes to this landing page. I personally use lead pages to make my landing pages. There's a science to this. Based on how it looks, how it's presented, different numbers of people will sign up. So that's the conversion. So if 100 people click and wind up on your landing page and only 20 people click on the send me the book, that's a 20% conversion, and you can do a lot better. So the design of your landing page matters too. Okay, so when somebody actually clicks on the landing page, there's going to be a place for them to put their email address. Okay, so now once lead pages or whatever landing page vendor you're using has this email, where does that email go? And so the next element is having a list manager. You've got to have some service that actually keeps track of your various lists. And you want to target specifically. So maybe, for example, you're working with orthopedic surgeons and dentists. You want those people to be on separate lists because you're going to drip on them. And the language that you use with a dentist may be different than the language that you use for an orthopedic surgeon. So the list vendor that I use is MailChimp. It's free up to, I think, a couple thousand people, very user-friendly. It integrates with lead pages. It will integrate with a number of different vendors. Now, I know that a lot of you are using Redtail, and Redtail does not have a feature where you can automatically send out drip content, right? I mean, you can put names on lists, but there are third-party vendors that will allow you to take the lists that you've developed and do outgoing marketing. And remember, the reason that you're collecting these names is to get these 7 to 10 contacts that doctors are going to need with you before they convert. So if you're just starting out in the medical market, you might want to consider just maybe keeping your doctor list on MailChimp because it's going to make your digital marketing efforts much easier. Okay, the next thing that you need is drip content. You need to stay top of mind with doctors, and you can do this on Facebook. So one of the great things about Facebook, and I wrote about this in one of my weekly posts, is that you can find out when people's birthdays are. And I'm kind of a contrarian. I'm always doing things differently. So, if everyone's posting a birthday greeting on a Facebook wall, I think that you should be sending a card. And I think that's a wonderful thing to be doing. It's a great way of engaging people. You could offer yummy treats. Maybe you've got a webinar, maybe you've got a book, maybe you've got something big. So maybe once a quarter you're out offering a yummy treat. Maybe you want to pose a question to doctors. What's the number one thing that bugs you most about being a doctor? And then let doctors tell you. Maybe you can share a link. You can go and sign up for a free Medscape account. They've got great surveys, so you can offer a link to a survey and then offer your own comment and interpretation, so you're adding extra value. Or, maybe you want to tell a story. But again, let me get back to my best advice here. It's to create these live stream videos with answers to questions that doctors are asking you. So what this means is that you want to write down word by word the questions that doctors are asking and then use that actual language. So you can do this with your smartphone. And again, the format is pretty straightforward. Probably the biggest barrier to doing this is not like a technical challenge. It's what's happening between your own ears. So I know that I resisted for a while because, I get stuck up in perfectionism and the hair and the makeup and the lighting, and I want to lose weight before I start to do it. But then I realized that I was sort of cheating the people that I wanted to help, because the things that I was putting in my own way were a barrier. So I just promise you that when you first get started, as one of my mentors said to me, give yourself permission to suck at first. So the first videos that you create are probably going to be videos that you're going to remove at some point. But the way that you get better is by doing it. So there's a very easy formula for doing this, and it's just a question of getting out and doing it. In my own videos for doctors, I will often take things from my day-to-day experiences. So for example, I'm retiling my upstairs bathroom and I'm using the little mosaic tiles. And it occurred to me that if you don't get things exactly square, like when you first get started, by the time you get to the end of the room, things are really off kilter. So precision when you're getting started, making sure you're doing the right things in the right way at the very beginning is really important. So I use the tile as a metaphor for that. So as you go about your days, there are some lessons that are going to apply to doctors. And that actually makes really engaging, interesting content if your compliance department will go with that. Okay, next thing is anything that has been approved by your compliance department is probably okay for Facebook. So just keep that in mind. If you give a live presentation, maybe you want to hire a videographer and have little chunks of your presentation as videos on Facebook, or maybe as part of your drip content. So you always want to think about how you can repurpose the great content that doctors really want to receive. And then, and this is an advanced tip that I normally just share with my private coaching clients. There are these private doctor Facebook groups, right? But these private Facebook groups really want to help the doctors who are there. What would happen if you direct message the administrator for this group and ask, is there any way that I might be able to deliver value? Like, are there questions that your doctors are asking? Because I would be happy to come in and answer questions, or maybe get on a Facebook live stream and be there live to address things. The worries that the administrators have is that you're just going to tell them you're going to sell. And they want to deliver genuine content. So if you have this kind of opportunity, make sure that you're really delivering value. And then if you really want content that gets shared, tell a story. I was just coaching somebody who's actually going to be speaking to a group of doctors. And my number one piece of advice to him is, don't share the boring stuff that you told me you were going to share. Tell stories. Here are the kind of stories that you want. You want to share the kind of content that makes the doctor put down their smartphone and sit up and take notice. And nothing does that like stories. So tell your own stories. Be willing to be vulnerable. If you can get permission to tell other people's stories, that would be great. But stories push the buy button. So as much as possible, share stories. So paint a word picture. If you can see it in your mind's eye, the doctor is much more likely to respond to it, because that engages the emotional brain. Use medical metaphors. You know, promoting financial health and promoting physical health are very similar processes. But doctors don't feel comfortable with money. They feel very comfortable taking care of patients. So anytime you can reframe a financial issue as a medical issue, it's going to make doctors feel more comfortable, and it's going to make it easier for them to take action. And then be entertaining. You know, make them laugh. Show them who you are. Okay, we're talking about digital sales funnels. So the next recommendation that I have is to make an investment in some kind of online scheduling app. There are some free ones out there. I personally use TimeTrade, and every time I send out an email, and at the bottom of all of my web pages, it's sort of click here to set up an appointment with me. Anytime you can make it easier for a doctor to reach you, it's more likely to happen. So again, I use TimeTrade. but find something that works for you. You don't have to put your whole calendar up there. Just put some spots where people can schedule themselves in. Next, it's really important, always test and measure and tweak. So like I just took a class on Facebook ads, and the teacher said something pretty amazing. He said, you know, whenever I create an ad, I create 10 ads because I know that 9 of them are not going to work. And so Facebook allows you to test things. Pictures, for example, are very important in Facebook. And so you can test different pictures and see what works best. But the point is that there are always ways that you can do better, especially with digital sales funnel. Lead Pages allows you to do A/B testing. Facebook makes it easy for you to do testing. You always want to optimize things so you have the best chance of sort of hooking a doctor, right? Okay, and then, and this is huge, you want to have a physician evangelist on your team. You want to have doctors on your advisory board. Ideally, you want to have the doctor in the photo on your Facebook page. So doctors can open red velvet ropes that you cannot open. I mean, just think about these Facebook private groups. So if you can find somebody, a local evangelist, ideally a key physician opinion leader, somebody who knows, likes, and trusts you, have them help you gain access to platforms and resources that you would not necessarily have access to on your own. This is really going to accelerate your growth. Okay, on Facebook, you want to avoid campaign killers. What are the biggest mistakes I see advisors making? It's addressing needs rather than wants. Doctors are smart. They know they're behind in retirement planning. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they are going to listen to, you know, sort of an eat your financial vegetables kind of talk. Most are not there. So you want to find out where doctors are, what they're talking about. In my tutorial about how to engage doctor with speaking engagements, you can find topics that will really engage doctors in general, but you want to find out what's going to engage your specific group of doctor prospects. Don't be boring. You know, nobody likes boring people. Be eccentric, be contrarian. If you want to achieve success on Facebook, you must be consistent. You know, if you're just there, you know, a day once a month, that actually is going to harm you. So unless you're willing to just go all in, I recommend that you just avoid Facebook for now. Next is trying to be somebody else. I mean, you might go out on Facebook and see what other people are doing and say, oh, I really like that. I want to be like that. And then your videos sound and look like that. Well, there's only one person who can be you, and that's you. So go ahead, embrace who you are. Be willing to be vulnerable. I don't know why you're in financial services. Maybe you grew up in a family where money was a real issue, and you just vowed that it was not going to be an issue for you. And so you learned money skills, excuse me, and now you share it. Be willing to be vulnerable. That actually makes it more real. And then probably the last campaign killer is to fail to understand the power of having a doctor on your team. They are going to turbocharge your growth. They are going to open doors for you. So think about your existing doctors. How can they help you grow? Think about building relationships with key physician opinion leaders. Just think about how you can do this, because this is critical. But clearly, the way to go is just to take action. So I hope that you found value. I hope that you got the information that you need to decide whether or not this is even a direction that you want to move in. What I know from doing this for a decade is that there are going to be some of you who are going to want to just take these ideas and run with it. And please do, if you have any questions about anything that I have commented on, go to my webpage, set up a 15 appointment with me, and I'd be happy to talk with you about it. And these are complimentary consultation. I call it laser coaching. But what I also know is that there are people who want to take the accelerated path to success. And maybe it's on Facebook, maybe it's just in the doctor market. So I always challenge myself to offer select financial advisors what Hank Greenberg calls the unfair advantage. So I have developed a program that you can use to help accelerate your Facebook presence as well as your overall marketing campaign. And if I may, I'd just like to share some of the elements with here. If you don't want to hear a pitch, I totally get it. So thank you for being here and let me know what you thought about this. But if I may, I will talk about how and why I developed this campaign. So I've had enough experience with advisors that I know where the sweet spot is. I know that it has to do with expert positioning, leveraging digital sales funnels, and engaging a physician evangelist, somebody who's going to open those red velvet ropes for you. So this package helps financial advisors quickly get to the sweet spot. Okay, so what's in the package? Well, you get to put your name and write a forward and afterword for the 2 proven books, The Myth of the Rich Doctor and The 9 Money Mistakes That Doctors Make. We'll include your signature story here. We'll include a great call to action so that doctors will be inspired to put down the book and then contact you. In addition, I'll create a landing page for you. You'll get 2 digital versions of the book, one through the first chapter that says, if you like this, there's more, contact me, and I'll send you the whole book. The second digital version is the whole book. And in addition, you'll get 50 physical copies of the book with the ability to buy more books at my wholesale cost. There's 6 months of coaching, and this means unrestricted access to me. So most advisors set up regular weekly appointments, but I'm always available if you've got a special meeting coming up, if you want to return an email and you don't exactly know what you want to say. I'm here, I'm in your corner, and I want you to contact me. All right, next, we'll set out a map for you. What kinds of doctors are you wanting to work with? We'll do this step by step so you know exactly what you're going to do. We will create an on-demand webinar. So now you'll have a yummy digital treat that you can go out and offer. You'll get scripts for Facebook Live videos. So 25 3-minute video scripts. So you don't have to imagine, what you would say on a Facebook live stream. I got it for you. I know what doctors actually are wanting to know on average. And so these video scripts reflect that. In addition, you have a license for unrestricted distribution, my cartoon, Navigating to Wealth, a Doctor's Course. And this is just a visual representation of the obstacles that doctors face as they navigate to wealth. And the thing that really separates doctors from others is the number of icebergs in the water here. And this is a really helpful tool because you can, for example, ask doctors to grab a red pen and circle their 3 biggest obstacles in their mind to wealth building. And then you now have sort of a client-centered way of beginning your conversation. So this has been very helpful. There are people who reproduce this on business cards, pictures worth 1,000 words. This cartoon engages doctors. In addition, in this package, I will write a letter of introduction for you. So anything that you send to doctors can be from me, not from you. And this is important because no gatekeeper is going to screen out something from a physician. They may screen something from you, but they're not going to throw away something from me. So this is very, very powerful. I'm only one person. I can only work with so many advisors. And what I really want to do is give you the competitive advantage in your local market. So in order to do that, I will only work with one advisor in a geographic area. So if you're at all interested, before you get too excited, the first thing to do is just drop me an email, Vicki@targetingdoctors.com, and find out if your territory's even available. Okay, so this is good for you if you're a veteran in the medical market and you just want something extra. Maybe you're deciding, okay, I want to do that Facebook and I want the tools to do it. So this is good for that. It's also good if you're just jumping into the medical market and you want to get really fast results. It's good for you if you're thinking that, yeah, I probably should be doing a digital sales funnel, but it's a lot of moving parts. I'm not quite sure how to do it. It's good if you've tried stuff before that hasn't worked and now you want to do stuff that does work. And it's also great if, you know, expert positioning, being a rock star is important, because that's specifically what this is for. It's how to be seen as an expert in the eyes of the doctor. This is not a good fit for you if you're uncertain about whether or not the medical market is a good fit for you. I really encourage you to just talk with some doctors and figure out if this is a good fit. Doctor clients are different. They have their eccentricities. And you want to make sure that this is going to be a good fit before you make a commitment like this. And the best way to do it is just to go out and talk to some doctors. If you're looking for a do-nothing campaign, you know, somebody just delivers a doctor to your office. Wouldn't that be great if somebody could do that? That's not what this is about. This involves hard work. Doctors have worked hard to become treating physicians, and it's going to take some hard, dedicated effort to actually get in front of them. But why would you be interested in doing it? I told you the story earlier on. It's that once you establish yourself, doctors are going to be calling you. So there's not going to be any more outbound marketing. It's going to be inbound marketing, and you can build a very big and successful practice for yourself. And if you're just a hobbyist, you just want to tinker, that this probably isn't for you, because this is a real concerted effort. Okay, so what's the investment? All right, well, first let's think, what is the value of a single physician client for you? So just think about the earning potential of physicians, think about their potential to build wealth, think about your own business model, and you actually should know the lifetime value of your clients. This is going to help guide your marketing. What's the value of being perceived as a physician's partner? What's the value of getting the attention of an executive director, or not having to worry about whether your yummy treats will really engage doctors? They've been tested and proven. What's the value of gaining access to platforms that are closed to most financial advisors? Because partnering with me doing this webinar, there's a pretty good chance you're going to be able to get yourself in front of a medical association. And that's very, very unlikely if just you went to a medical association. What's the value of getting your phone calls returned, or not stumbling at the starting gate or the finishing line? Because I've seen advisor do both. All right, let's think about this in another way. What if you went out and just got all of the elements of this expert positioning package? And I invite you to think about how you could do that. Well, if you hired somebody to write a book or got your name in a book, the fees are generally between $10,000 and $20,000. I personally wanted to make it more cost effective so more advisors could experience more success with my books. So I have priced the package at $5,000, and you can go and see what's involved in that. If you're going to go out and create your own videos where you're actually in front of the video camera, and the value of doing that is every time a doctor prospect sees you on screen, they build a relationship with you. They get to know you a little better. So if you went to a video production studio and shot 25 videos, that's usually about $30,000 to $60,000. I actually produce videos for some clients, and oftentimes what we'll do is get organized. We'll create 12 videos, which is a year of drip content, and for that package, it's $5,000. If you can find a doctor to do a webinar with, I would encourage you to do that. It's hard to find them. I do this. The fee is $1,500. And so if you add up all of the elements that are in this package, you know, the total fee is about $20,000. But I mean, why am I here? I'm here to help doctors thrive. And I know that if more of you are successful engaging more doctors, that's going to feed into my core mission. So I dramatically slashed the price. I've also been asked, you know, can this be broken into payments? And the answer is yes. So if this is at all of interest for you, please first drop me an email and make sure that your territory is available. And then the next step would probably be scheduling a phone call with me to see if we're a good fit. While you're at the Targeting Doctors website, make sure that you're on the list so that you're getting the regular marketing tips. I have all sorts of free content on the site, so please avail yourself of it. Go there, you know, watch all of the tutorials, learn. You know, I offer my signature course called Cracking the Physician Code course. The truth is that most of the content in the course you can just piece together. I'm about to launch my new course. It's the Academy of Physician Master Class, and this is for advanced strategies. So I went to medical school, then I went to residency to learn how to be a surgeon, sort of advanced training. This is going to be the advanced training, so it includes everything in the Cracking the Physician Code course and more. And by the way, this new offering is going to be part of this expert positioning packaging. But anyway, there's lots of resources on the site. Help yourself to the free stuff. You can see the different services that I offer for a fee. Find the thing that works for you, because not everything is for everybody. So anyway, I'm still here if you have any more questions. I'm not seeing any come in. I want to thank you for your time, your investment to learn about engaging doctors. They really need you, and you're making a big difference by helping people, you know, find the financial freedom to do what they want to do when they want to do it. That's what I think of as wealth. So congratulations on a great job. Let me know how I can help you. And bye-bye for now.